Downtown Utica, the site for our Saturday night matchup between the Unicorns and the Mammoths here on Mardi Gras night on the USPBL Network. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Brendan Shabat. That's Kara Wolfbauer joining us for the pregame. Kara's going to be busy during the game down on the field with all her duties, so it'll just be me in the booth, but Kara's nice enough to join us for the pregame. We appreciate that. Unicorns and Mammoths tonight and last night. Kara, let's get to that first. That had the Unicorns in it in a 2-1 kind of all of the sudden loss. We were in the bottom of the 7th inning. There was one out with 2 runners on for the Hoppers who were batting, and then tornado warnings came about not too far, just in Rochester, not really, just right next door here to Utica pretty much. We saw the lightning from the ballpark. The storms got really bad once we got out of the game, so the announcement was made over the PA in the middle of the bottom of the 7th inning that this would be our last inning, and we were tied at 1. Sure enough, Noah Marcoux, ground ball base hit to right. Whit Hughes scores, game over. All of a sudden, the Unicorns have suffered their 7th loss in a row. Kind of a whirlwind, but with the weather coming, we just had to get that game in.
Yeah, we've had some tough weather here in 2023, especially yesterday. We were getting a little worried as we were heading towards game time, but it always seems like the weather just parts enough for us to get some games in. So really glad we were able to play yesterday, but definitely a tough loss for the Unicorns. Not what they want to see when that's their closest game. They've had in about 6 games or so, and then had to take the loss right at the end. Not even too much of a forewarning, but again, we had to do it. Tornado warnings were in the area. We had to do it for everybody's safety, but now the Unicorns have a chance to come out here again tonight and hopefully regain that confidence.
If you're playing baseball in Michigan, you have to be ready for anything at any given moment. So these players know that. They're used to that at this point, so they understand the situation. So now the Unicorns come into today. They're facing the first place Mammoths. Now the Mammoths in a tie for first place with the Hoppers win last night. They're 20-16. The Mammoths are 19-15. Mammoths have to win tonight to maintain and regain sole possession of first place. If they lose, they'll fall a half game behind the Hoppers. This is a big game for them.
Yeah, so Mammoths have been hot as of late, and we've talked about it before, and you've mentioned it several times that Jelly was sick of being the best team on paper. But they really were from the start, but now they finally seem to pick it up, really come together. People like Burl Dixon and Fox Liam really leading on the offensive side, and the boys have been backing them up recently in the field.
And there's a new name on the Mammoths roster. It's not a name that's new to the USPBL, but it's new to the Woolly Mammoths, and that's Carson Ferry. The left-hander out of Paw Paw, Michigan, makes his return to the USPBL. He was here in 2021 and in 2022. Last year with the Hoppers, really good at the start of the year. The fastball-curveball combination was slicing up hitters left and right. Suffered some injuries in the middle of the summer. Then we got to right around this time, late July, early August, he lost his command and started walking a lot more batters, and the ERA started to go up for Carson a little bit. He's since left, went to the Frontier League at the start of this summer, is now back here in the USPBL. Command was an issue in the Frontier League, but maybe a change of scenery, a new team, but a familiar location and a familiar spot back here in the Mitten State where he's from and back here at the USPBL. A chance for Carson to kind of right the ship and start off new.
For sure, being back especially in your home state, where even though Papa is still decently far, you have family near, and you're back in the same league you were used to, back in the same state you grew up in. I'm actually really glad to see him on a new team, hoping that since he's able to join the Mammoths, who have been hot as of late, like we were just talking about, maybe it'll give him some confidence under his belt, because like we talked about right before this, is that sometimes you get going and you worry, is this a fluke? Am I just doing really well just because I'm getting lucky right now? And you're not. He's a fantastic player, but he needs to be able to take hold of that command and have a great outing on the mound tonight, and hopefully he does really fantastic.
There's always an advantage to being a lefty, and there aren't a lot of lefty arms in this league, and Carson is the left-hander, so he will bring that for the Mammoths tonight against these Unicorns, who they also had a debut. It was a USPBL debut last night for Ramon Enriquez, who was the catcher. He's the designated hitter tonight, and his longtime friend Felix Abaret is the catcher today. They're going to switch catcher and DH pretty much every other game the rest of the way this season. Really interesting story with these two. They both grew up together, 9 years old, in San Bruno, California. They've known each other ever since. Talked to Enriquez, and he said, you know, you kind of play everywhere when you're younger, and both he and Felix did that. But both of them just ended up being better as a catcher, and Felix is in his 3rd year here in the USPBL. He came back about midway through this year, and Enriquez was down in Florida, heard of Paul Nochi. Paul got in touch with him, called him, and said, hey, I want you to come to the USPBL. Enriquez calls up his good friend Felix, who he knows is here in the USPBL. USPBL and says, hey, I'm coming to the Unicorns. And little did he know that's the team that Felix was playing for. Kind of crazy how the two have been friends forever, knew each other, and didn't know they were both going to be on the same team here in the USPBL, but they are, and they get a chance to play together.
See, but this duo might be exactly what the Unicorns need. When you have two people who go back that far, 9 years old, that's a different kind of connection that not many ball players can really talk about having very often. So the fact that this happened by chance and now they're here together today, even though they play the same position, they might be able to really move off each other, moving into DH and then to the catcher slot. So really hoping for the Unicorns that this can spark some kind of run for them, especially considering Abaret's been with us for, this is his 3rd year now, and he was the MVP last year in our championship game. So he knows the feel of the USPBL. Hopefully he can pass it on to Enriquez. They can come together and get this Unicorns team moving towards the championship weekend.
Those are my thoughts exactly. Felix can share an old perspective and Ramon can share a new perspective, and they can kind of build and make two fantastic catchers out of it. So we'll see how it goes tonight with the switch, with Enriquez being the designated hitter and Abaret being the catcher. We've got starting lineups in our Ascension pitcher comparison as Tristan Harvin takes the mound on the start tonight for the Unicorns after the break here on the USPBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, Saturday night, Mardi Gras night between the Mammoths and the Unicorns here on the USPBL Network. Let's take a look at our presenting sponsors for tonight's broadcast. As always, it's brought to you by Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, Dave & Buster's, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, McQuaid Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Refrigeration, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, and United Wholesale Mortgage. We thank all our proud sponsors for everything they do for the league. A beautiful Saturday night. Scattered clouds, the rain and storms have gone. Lineups have been exchanged at home plate. Let's look at the details, starting with the visiting Utica Unicorns. Leading off, as always, is the first baseman, Lucas Gooden. Ramon Enriquez in his second game in the USPBL is the designated hitter after catching last night. We talked about him just a few moments ago on the pregame. He'll bat second. Josh Baker is out in left, batting third. Felix Abaret takes Enriquez's place with the duties behind the dish. He'll clean things up and bat fourth. Nick Pastor is out in center field, batting fifth, followed by Jared Weber off the bench from yesterday in the starting lineup today. Has the hot corner defensively and will bat sixth. Angel Diaz is out in right field, batting seventh, followed pretty typically by Donovan Curiel and Patrick Baggett, the two up the middle, and the 8-9 in the order. Tristan Harvin, in need of a good start, is on the mound tonight for the boys in the purple. On the other side, for the Westside, Woolly Mammoths in first place on the season, 19-15 on the year, looking to hold on and regain sole possession of first place as they're tied with the Hoppers right now. Burl Dixon leading it off and out in center field. Dravion Williams-Nelson, the left fielder. The whole outfield batting in the top three is Patrick Mills, who had a good batting practice today, is out in right field and will bat third. Fox Liam, the home run leader for the Mammoths this season with 4, will bat fourth and play first base. Livingston Morris, boy, we are going to talk about Livingston Morris in this broadcast. He's the designated hitter batting fifth. Alex Garbasic has the hot corner at third base. He'll bat sixth. Colby Seltzer, second base up the middle defensively, batting seventh. Scott Combs is behind the plate. That's an advantage for the Mammoths, which we'll get into later with Carson Ferry on the mound. Scott will bat eighth, and then Trevor Austin in his second week in the league as the shortstop. Defensively, he will bat ninth, and it's Carson Ferry on the mound. So we mentioned Ferry versus Harvin. Let's take a look at the Ascension pitcher comparison and the asterisk for Carson Ferry. Those are the stats with the Diamond Hoppers from last year. You see 33 innings with the Hoppers a season ago. He made 6 starts in 15 total appearances. That ERA of a 5.61 elevated a lot because of the end of the season. Harvin's looked pretty good this season. The last couple starts have not been where he was earlier in the year, but a 4.11 ERA. Both guys with more strikeouts than walks. And again, a reminder that Carson's are from last season, 45 strikeouts to 30 walks, and that was the issue later in the year. So Carson Ferry's 2022 season with the Hoppers was a very unique one. It was his second year here in the USPBL and his second season with the Hoppers. He was quickly one of the best starters early in the year. He was the ace for the Hoppers after Pierce Banks, their opening day ace, got signed by the Minnesota Twins in just the first week of the season. Very similar to this season with Kyle Bischoff and Jacob Wazinski here in the league. But so Banks gets signed. He goes to the Minnesota Twins, and Carson Ferry takes over as the ace. And he was one of the best starters in the league. Fastball, curveball mix was just deadly. Got a lot of swings and misses, one of the best strike throwers in the league. And then he got injured, dealt with some time on the injured list, worked his way back, and then towards the end of the season lost the command a little bit. It was right around this time of year where Carson started to walk more batters than he was striking out. The ERA went up a little bit, and he left the USPBL, went back home, just kind of got an early jump on the offseason, just a few weeks before the season was over. I believe it was early September, late August when Carson left, missing about the last 2 or 3 weeks. Started this summer in the Frontier League, and the struggles have been similar to what they were here. More walks than strikeouts in the Frontier. And again, change of scenery, new team, but a familiar place. Maybe things can turn around for Carson Ferry. We'll see after the break in his first start here in 2023 back in the USPBL. It's the Unicorns and the Mammoths on Saturday night, Mardi Gras night. We'll be back after this on the USPBL Network.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Lineups are done. The anthem is done. Let's take a look at the defense behind Carson Ferry making his first start of the season. It's Dre Williams Nelson in left, Dixon in center, and Patrick Mills in right field. On the corners, Alex Garbasic and Fox Liam. Then it's Trevor Austin and Colby Seltzer, the double play combination up the middle. And Scott Combs is catching his former teammate tonight. We mentioned that Ferry was a hopper the last 2 summers. Well, Scott Combs was also a hopper last year, and got to talk with him about what he's looking for from Carson tonight. Carson, it's a 4-seam fastball, curveball, and changeup. We'll see how they look tonight on this gorgeous Saturday night. 80 degrees, light breeze, humidity is low. It's mostly sunny. Just a great, great, great day for baseball. It's been nice to have this good weather. We obviously had the storm late last night that we mentioned, which ended our game last night between the Hoppers and the Unicorns early at the bottom of the 7th inning on the walk-off base hit from Noah Marcoux. That storm came in, and it was nasty. Lightning galore. Tornadoes touched down further away towards mid-Michigan, but there were tornado warnings right next door in Rochester here in Michigan. And the rain came, and it lasted till about 3 or 4 in the morning, according to some reports from those that work at the ballpark and live here in Utica. There was still some rain or some water, I should say, some stagnant water around the warning track behind home plate when we got here earlier today. The grounds crew has done a nice job of cleaning it up and getting this ballpark ready for mint condition and for a game tonight between these Unicorns and the Mammoths. So it'll be Gooden, Enriquez, and Baker, the 1, 2, and 3 to start us off tonight. Lucas Gooden has primarily been in the top of the order all season long, batting from the left side for the Unicorns. Gooden 1 for 3 with an RBI, the only RBI for the Unicorns last night. First pitch, a couple minutes early, 7:03, 88-mile-an-hour fastball up and away for ball 1, and we are underway on Mardi Gras night. Just outside with another fastball, 2 balls, no strikes. So we mentioned that conversation with Scott Combs. He's going to lean on the fastball for Carson tonight, and that's not atypical for Ferry anyways, primarily as a fastball pitcher, which the curve that's mixed off of that fastball finds the zone, 2-1. Gooden swings through it. 92 right out of the gate from Carson. Pretty good numbers to start. Gooden with that right foot dropped back. Ferry delivers the 2-2, fouled away. Ferry last year was better against righties than lefties. There were a couple guys in the USPBL a season ago, both pitchers and batters, that had that opposite platoon split. Good field by Garbasic over at third. Gooden bounces out after a decent at-bat, but it's the first out. So Ferry a season ago Had a lower batting average against right-handed hitters than left-handed. And I talked to a couple players last year about that, and it's more of just a comfort thing. It's not necessarily a physical or tactical advantage one way or another. It's just some guys just more comfortable facing a hitter or a pitcher of the same hand or the opposite hand. Ron Enriquez looks at a fastball from the left side, up 1-0. Enriquez made his debut last night. He does have professional experience before the U.S. PBL. He was in the Pioneer League last summer for 9 games, and then in the Mexican League with Tigres de Quintana Roo. Only 3 games there. 2-0, he looks at a strike. He said the Mexican League was actually some of the most fans he's played in front of. They get a lot of guys, or a lot of fans, I should say, out there in Monterrey, Mexico to get out to those games. Said he played in front of about 15,000, if he had to guess, in the Mexican League. But he's very excited to be back with, as we mentioned, one of his good longtime friends, Felix Abaret. Fastball up, and he did not go on the appeal down to first. Enriquez works a walk. So that's the first walk for Ferry in his return. That's what we'll have to pay attention to. The free passes. He's thrown more balls than strikes so far through the first 2 batters, and this is a batter that you cannot fall behind to in Josh Baker. Fastball up. Baker looks at it for a ball. Fastball for a strike. Baker, a .407 slugging percentage this year. That's second on the Unicorns. Gets out of the way of the curveball. First curveball we've seen. Two-one. Fought off foul. Baker's been one of the few positive signs on an offense that has really struggled the entire season, but especially in the month of July and now August. 2-2 curveball, got him, strike 3. Good pitch by Ferry. Threw that curveball at the front hip and gets his first strikeout as Baker goes down looking. So Ferry follows up the walk with the K. Now 2 down for Felix Abaret. Curveball nearly got back to the zone, but just sits a little bit high. That's a very stark difference in velocity between the fastball and the curveball. That's part of what made it so effective from Ferry last year with the hoppers. That last curveball at 73, that fastball right there at 92. 20-mile-an-hour difference is not easy for hitters to time up. Has to find the zone, though, as Felix waits on a 2-0. Fastball up, now 3 balls and no strikes to the best power hitter so far this season in the Unicorns lineup. Only 1 home run in 14 games for Felix, but an .800 OPS. Taking all the way on the 3-0, and it's a fastball right down the pipe for Carson to stay in this at-bat. Liam holds a non-stealing threat and Enriquez on at first base. Everyone else plays Aberrett fairly straight up. The 3-1 inside. And that's a 2-out walk to put 2 on. Enriquez goes to second. Aberrett down to first. Pastor to the plate. Seems like the issue right now for Ferry is strike 1. Been a lot of 1-0 through the first 4 batters. Lefty on lefty with Pastor. And 0-1 this time as the fastball clips the outside edge. Already 22 pitches for Ferry. Fastball strike 2. Outside with the fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pastor last night 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He did reach on an error and was promptly doubled off in the next at bat off of first base. Gets out of the way of the curveball. Second time Ferry's thrown that curveball to a lefty and it's gone over their head. Same thing happened to Baker. Pastor fights it off foul. Two runners with a big lead. Pastor skies it to the right side. Fighting the sun is Mills, the right fielder. And he wins that fight with the sun as he makes the grab for the 3rd out. So Ferry, a little bit of a longer first inning. He faces 5, walks 2 of them. But the other 3 are all recorded outs, and he's out of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first. Mammoths batting when we come back.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Good crowd here on a Saturday night watching the Mammoths and the Unicorns. And this is the defense they will see, brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services, as always, for the Unicorns. Josh Baker in left, Nick Pastor in center, and Angel Diaz out in right field. The corners are occupied by Jared Weber and Lucas Gooden. And then the middle, as always, Patrick Baggett and Donovan Curiel, with Felix Aberrett behind the plate tonight, catching Tristan Harvin, the 25-year-old native of Dothan, Alabama. 46 innings this year for Tristan, leads all Unicorns pitchers. It's in the top 5 or 6 of the league, depending on when you look at the day. Obviously, we're in the middle of a weekend here, so some guys are going to have more games played than others. That wind pushing the balls out to right field today. The batting practice saw a lot of home runs in that direction. Harvin comes in with a 4.11 ERA in those aforementioned 46 innings. The last couple starts have been rough for him. The most recent one, a week ago on August 5th, 19-3, the Beavers won that game over the Unicorns. 7 of those 19 runs came against Tristan Harvin in the first third of the first inning. He recorded 1 out. As Burl Dixon shows bunt, this goes back to Harvin. He will field, throw to first. He stumbles, and Dixon is safe. Burl Dixon going to do anything he can to get on base. Lays down a bunt. He's not a stranger to that. And it works perfectly here. Softly, just beyond the dirt, right in front of home plate. Harvin fielded it, but couldn't cleanly make the throw. And Dixon's on easily with an infield single. So anyways, that last start for Harvin, 1/3 of an inning. He recorded 1 strikeout against the Beavers, but gave up 6 hits, including a grand slam to Marcus Judd. Dre Williams-Nelson grounds a double play ball, and quickly 2 pitches and 2 outs after the leadoff bunt. Williams-Nelson gives the Unicorns exactly what they need on the 6-4-3 tailor-made double play. Just like that, 2 down for Patrick Mills. Ball, no strikes on Mills. Mills had a really good batting practice today. Some people joke that it's his new haircut as he just buzzed the long hair that he had when he got to the league. Goes around on the check swing. Now 1-1 on the appeal to first. Righty on lefty, swing and a miss. Splitter got him. That's strike 2. Fastball, splitter, curveball is the mix for Harvin. See where he goes on the 1-2. Got him. Splitter again. Threw him 3 straight splitters, all for strikes. Tristan Harvin throws 6 pitches and gets out of the first inning. As we head to the second, Carson Ferry comes back on the mound. Scoreless after 1 on the USPBL Network.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
That's a happy dugout. A dugout that is perhaps surprised that it's full again, because Carson Ferry threw just 6 pitches in the bottom of the first to get out of the inning after Burl Dixon led it off with a leadoff bunt, double play, and then a strikeout 4 pitches later. We're scoreless after 1 here from Jimmy John's field. So Carson Ferry, who threw nearly 30 pitches in the first inning, doesn't get to sit for very long before he has to go back out there and face Jared Weber, Angel Diaz, and Donovan Curiel. You see Carsey Walker right there. We are expecting to see Carsey at some point tonight. It's scheduled likely 4 innings from Harvin, likely another 3 or 4 more from Carsey, and then maybe 1 more to close it out in the 9th. But with Tristan Harvin throwing 6 pitches in the first inning, that may change. First pitch to Jared Weber is a ball low. Fastball up, gets him to swing and miss. 1-1. Weber from Crawfordville, Florida. Pretty much been down there his whole life. 5 seasons with Florida A&M in college. Just 23 years old is the third baseman in his first professional season. One, two, swing and a miss. Into the glove as it was tipped. Strike 3. And that's the second K for Carson Ferry. Good start to the second inning as he needs a short inning. .27 pitches in the first inning is not how Ferry drew up his 2023 USPBL debut. Fastball skips in, Combs in and out of his glove. Fastball up, 2-0. Angel Diaz, the righty, facing the lefty Ferry. Diaz, in his 15th game in the league this year, has not seen a ton of lefties. That one. About a 58-foot fastball. 3 balls and no strikes. Diaz likely taking all the way here. Missed high. Third walk in just the first 7 batters for Ferry. And our fielding umpire has called time for some reason. Looks like Jim Essien is getting some equipment back to the Unicorns dugout. Take an extra beat as Ferry now steps on the rubber third base side. Diaz goes on the first pitch. Fastball gets by Combs. He stood up out of his crouch, ready to throw it down to second base, and I think he just looked away, didn't see it all the way into the glove, and it's an easy stolen base for Angel Diaz. Diaz now 4 for 4 on the season. Gurriel waits, 1-0 low. So we mentioned the mix is fastball, curveball, changeup. The changeup is last in usage, as it was last year for Ferry. He only threw a handful of them. Diaz long off a second. He's going to go for a third. Combs isn't even going to throw because Diaz got a huge jump. Ferry almost unaware. And now the possible first run of the game is 90 feet away. 2 stolen bases for Diaz after the walk. Gurriel in a 3-0 count. Do some damage here. Does take a strike. Gurriel 0 for 3 last night with 1 strikeout. Infield in on the 3-1, and it's fouled. Full count. So it's mainly fastball, curveball for Ferry. And when the curveball is missing, as it has a couple times tonight, it's almost entirely fastballs. In the 3-2, there's another fastball that skips in. Back-to-back walks. Puts runners on the corners with only 1 down for the switch-hitting Patrick Baggett to step up to the plate. And now an infield visit between the 2 middle infielders, Trevor Austin and Colby Seltzer, and Scott Combs, the catcher. Double play is in order, but Curiel does have speed at first. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to go for second and get out of the double play. We've also seen the double steal a couple times this season work. So you could see Curiel go to second and then Diaz go home on a throw. And maybe that's perhaps what went on in the minds and on the mouths during that conversation. Maybe Combs won't throw to second. Likely just discussed that with those middle infielders. Fastball up and away to Baggett, batting from the right side. Hasn't done that much. Has been successful when he has, though. On the ground, second base. Seltzer to second for one. Relay back to first. Not in time. Baggett beats it out and earns himself an RBI. Diaz scores and the Unicorns are on the board first. Good hustle from Patrick Baggett on a pretty good ground ball that could have turned two. 2 outs for the top of the order. Gooden grounded out the first time up. Makes it a ball inside, 1-0. Baggett leaning off of first. He's got speed to steal. Patrick this season 5 for 5. He's had a really good weekend so far. He went 2 for 3 yesterday, but reached in all 3 as he reached on an error in one of his at-bats. On board first here in this at-bat. Good in behind 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. It gets past Combs. That is tipped, not strike 3. Baggett went to second on the wild pitch, but it was just barely tipped. Couldn't hear it at all. Thought Gooden struck out for a moment. He did catch a piece of it. So we'll see one more. Two down. Ferry delivers outside. That was the curveball. I'd wager to say we've only seen a couple of those. Maybe 5, if that. As we start the second time through the order for Carson. The 2-2. Baggett goes on the pitch. It's swing and high fly ball to right field. Towards the gap. Mills ranging over long run. Dives! Hang on to it! Patrick Mills, a run-saving grab out in the gap. Unicorns get 1 on the board. It could have been more, but Mills saves the day to end the top half of the second inning. Mammoths batting when we come back on the US PBL Network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
For the past 35 years, Bell's Brewery has been inspired to brew beers that you can count on, not just for taste, but for quality. From Two Hearted Ale to Oberon to new classics like Official Hazy IPA or the easy drinking Golden Ale, Bell's has brewed inspired beer since 1985. Bell's Brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Please, as always, drink responsibly. Unicorns now working with a lead, 1-0 after a couple walks come around to score, a couple stolen bases. Diaz got himself in scoring position and came around on the fielder's choice from Patrick Baggett. Tristan Harvin barely settled in that first inning. 6 pitches. He'll throw number 7 to Fox Liam first as he fouls it back here in the bottom of the second. Liam, Morris, Garbasic, 4, 5, and 6 scheduled. Missing inside with the splitter. That fastball splitter combo has been what's so successful for Tristan this year. The reason he had a sub-4 ERA for a decent amount of this season. You see Liam out in front of the splitter, just barely catching a piece. One and two on the ground, hard to first. Gooden backing up, fielding it on a couple hops, and that's a nice play. He'll keep it himself. Liam put a good swing on it behind in that count. Hard hit, but Gooden perfectly placed up the line. Good alignment leads to the first out. Now Livingston Morris, the big name coming into this game due to batting practice. Livingston did something in batting practice today more than once that I have never seen. First pitch fastball outside. So we've got a scoreboard here at Jimmy John's Field. It's out in left center. Frequently home runs have been hit that way during batting practice and in games. And on that scoreboard reads the name of this ballpark, Jimmy John's Field, in big white letters. The same font that's on the Jimmy John's logo. There you see it on your screen. Livingston Morris hit a baseball off the Jimmy John's Field lettering in batting practice today. Now, we didn't have the TrackMan live for that. But from the home runs that I have seen and the projected distance of those that have gone towards the scoreboard and have not landed off the lettering, there's a good chance Livingston Morris hit a baseball 500 feet in batting practice today. And he did it multiple times. He was up on the top 80% of that scoreboard on 5-6 different swings. There's a reason every time he comes up to bat, we talk about the power that he has and how we're just waiting to see it. Because he hit the N up there. Three-two, swing and a miss. Splitter got him again. Strikeout number 2 for Tristan Harvin in a good battle. Quickly 2 down for Alex Garbasic. And Morris seems subdued about not having hit his first professional home run yet. He's still slugging the ball decent with a .263 average. The slug is at .333. There's extra base power. He's in double-digit RBIs. He just hasn't had the long ball. And I think it's a mental game at this point for Livingston. Guy comes into the league, plays 1 or 2 games, then wins the home run derby every day in batting practice. Players in this league marvel. Players and coaches. Taylor Jellikowski was throwing BP today. He stood and turned around and watched about 4 or 5 of those long balls from Livingston. When everybody does that, you can't help but feel a little bit obligated to put it into a game. And he even joked with Justin Karn, the assistant manager for the Mammoths and the pitching coordinator here in the league, He joked with Karn after BP and said, hey, I just got to do it in game one of these times. Garbasic on the ground to third. Scooped up by Weber. Over to first. And Tristan Harvin has faced the minimum through the first 2 innings. Very easy, 20 pitches, 6 outs. We go to the third. Unicorns leading it 1-0 here on the USPBL Network. Mardi Gras night on Saturday night. Jimmy John's Field.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and reset our life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Start of the third inning. Unicorns leading it 1-0 here on the USPBL Network. Could be more, but Patrick Mills ended last inning, the second, with a run-saving, diving catch out in the gap in right center field off the bat of Lucas Gooden. A good swing from Gooden, and Patrick Baggett, who was standing over at first, was actually running on the pitch, so he would have easily scored had that ball touched grass. But it didn't, thanks to Mills, and that man on the mound has to be grateful as he can come out for the third inning, still only trailing by just 1. First pitch, strike 2, Enriquez. Ferry actually hasn't given up a hit yet in the first 50 pitches and 10 batters. Last inning, in which Diaz scored, Ferry led things off with a strikeout to Jared Weber, and then Diaz got on via the walk. And on the next 2 pitches in the next at-bat to Donovan Curiel, Diaz stole second and third and got himself in scoring position. Curiel walked. Baggett hit into what could have been an inning-ending double play, but he beat it out to allow Diaz to score. Enriquez jackknifes out of the way on the 2-1 to make it 3 balls and 1 strike. But other than that, other than the 4 walks and the 1 fielder's choice, there are no base hits, no hit batters, no errors for Ferry. And strike 2 will pull Enriquez back to the right-handed batter's box. Mentioned Ramon from San Bruno out in California. Spent his college days at Oklahoma Baptist after a couple of years in JUCO before that. Full count. Inside, strike 3 called on the fastball. Low and in, dotted by Carson Ferry. Strikeout number 3 for the lefty. That's really big for Carson. Second strikeout looking, first out of this inning. That's big for him. Fall behind 3-1, work your way back on a couple balls right near the black. Some perfect pitches. Baker out to left, looped up. Williams Nelson charging, going back is Austin, and he makes the grab.
Next up on the unicorn is the catcher, number 35, Felix Alvarez.
So 2 down for Felix Averette. So upon looking out to left field, realized that is not Williams Nelson. That's Nick Webb out there in left instead of Williams Nelson, who is now in center field. So Burl Dixon is the one we're missing. That's still Patrick Mills out in right. I didn't catch anything. Maybe Dixon had something on that bunt single when he beat it out at first. Either way, Dixon no longer in the lineup tonight. So again, Webb goes to left. Williams Nelson takes Dixon's place in center. The 1-1 to Averette. Fastball misses, 2-1. Good looking shades there. Sunny Saturday night. Sunset coming soon as we near the 8 o'clock hour, scheduled for just after 8:30. A little bit more sunshine means a little bit more shadows for these hitters to deal with. Barry misses up to Averette with 2 down, so the inning stays alive with the walk. It's walk number 5 for Carson. Mentioned we'd be paying attention and tracking the walks compared to the strikeouts. 5 free passes and 3 Ks through the first 2 2/3 for Carson. First pitch on the ground, foul from Pastor. A 1 check swing got him, went around too far. 0-2. Curveball. That might be the first swing and miss that I can remember on the curveball tonight. The 0-2. Out into center field, dropping in front of Williams Nelson. He won't get there. A 2-out base hit from Nick Pastor. Keeps the line moving. Pastor at first, Averette at second. Jared Weber strides to home plate. Weber K'd his first time up. That was last inning to lead things off in the second. 2 on, 2 out, lefty righty. Ball high. Popped up. Doesn't look like it'll stay in play. Chasing Combs right to the net. He can't get there in time. So it did just stay in the field of play, but he couldn't get it. That long foul territory, we've talked about it numerous times on this broadcast. It is difficult. It means there's more room and more area for the fielders to make some catches. But that doesn't always mean they're going to get there in time. 1-1, hard hit left field. That is caught by Nick Webb, reaching up. Smoked off the bat of Jared Weber. Webb reached up and pulled it back down. Another run-saving catch ends another inning for the Mammoths. 2 stranded by the Unicorns. They do still lead it 1-0, as that is our 5th third out of the game, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank here on the US PBL Network. And now it's everybody's favorite part. JJ, Makes his water delivery in shallow right field. Gets rewarded aptly with a treat. On some warm days like this, you need water, so JJ always delivers to our umpires. Now Kara Wolfbauer's down on the field with our DTE Kid Race, the mascot.
Tough season to be nice about it. So we're putting him over there at second base because it's been a rough go, Lancelot. It's all right, buddy. But he's been giving Tristan a big thumbs down, but we're not going to let him get Tristan down today. Tristan's really excited, so give him one big round of applause. Cheer him on. There we go. Tristan, are you ready? Yeah, give everyone a wave, Tristan. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to give Lancelot still a bit of a head start because he's been so slow. So you ready, Lancelot? 3, 2, 1, start running, Lance. Okay, I can feel your heart beating, Tristan. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and he takes off, but he needs your guys' help to get home today. Let me hear ya. There we go. Ooh, Lancelot's doing the gritty, not doing a great time over there. All right, here comes Tristan. He said, bye, Lance. And he's safe today. Good job, Tristan. Lance, that's just another loss under your belt, unfortunately. I'll send it back up to Johnny now. We'll see you in a little bit.
Tristan with the win. Lancelot with the loss. JJ with the Frisbee. 1-0 Unicorns here in the bottom of the third. Scheduled for the Mammoths, Colby Seltzer, Scott Combs, Trevor Austin. The 7-8-9 as Tristan Harvin has faced the minimum in 20 pitches. The only base runner was Burl Dixon, who bunted his way on the first pitch from Harvin in the bottom of the first. And Dixon now out of the lineup. We're trying to find out what happened. Dre Williams-Nelson slid over to center field where Dixon was, and Nick Webb, who just made an inning-ending run-saving catch out in left, now takes the place of Burl Dixon, so Webb will be at the top of the order should Seltzer, Combs, or Austin get on. Colby Seltzer is swinging a good bat lately. First pitch. That was the curveball that time that dropped in for Harvin, mixing his pitch as well, keeping these hitters off balance. Not even one time through the order, and he's already getting creative. The 0-1. Now goes to the fastball. Strike 2. And Seltzer looks a little baffled. He calls time. The 0-2 now, after Seltzer called timeout. 1 ball, 2 strikes as the splitter missed. Colby up to a 158 batting average. And when you consider that he was at an 0.71 a couple games ago, tells you just how good he's been swinging it lately. Thought about it, didn't offer, laid off the high fastball. Good eye, 2-2. Not only has he been swinging a good bat, but it's been a long one. 2 home runs in the last 2 weeks for Seltzer. 2-2 fastball up. So after 2 quick strikes, when Harvin pitched backwards, curveball, fastball, now it's 3-2. Seltzer with a chance to get on. The payoff pitch is popped up on the right side. Good in range is over. And he has room. Scott Combs will come up to the dish. So we've heard that Burl Dixon pulled his groin on the bunt. I did notice that on the ensuing ground ball from Dre Williams-Nelson, which was 1 pitch after Dixon's bunt, he didn't try at all to get to second base and beat the double play. Scott Combs, hard liner to left. That is over the head of Baker. 1 hops over the wall, and Scott Combs has a ground rule double with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Combs with the Mammoth celebration over at second base. First runner in scoring position tonight for the Mammoths. Just their 2nd knock. Combs roped that in triple digits off the bat, exactly 100 miles an hour to left field. Now Trevor Austin steps up. First pitch curveball. Did not catch a piece of the plate, missing outside. Harvin checks the runner as he comes set. Austin close to the plate in the right-handed batter's box, looks at a fastball, strike one. That's the second ground rule double this season for Combs. He's only in his 11th game with the Mammoths. Got here a little late. One swing and a miss. Combs' other ground rule double came, we talked about Colby Seltzer and his 2 home runs. Combs' other ground rule double this season came 2 pitches before Seltzer hit a 2-out, game-tying 2-run home run against the Hoppers 2 weeks ago. That was in the bottom of the 9th inning. Austin stays alive with a foul ball. Combs hit both of those balls really well. If that one to left had hung up a little bit more, it would have had home run distance. The other ground rule double he hit was to center field and got all 393 feet of it before it bounced just short of the wall and up over into the batter's eye. Austin not going away easily. A couple of 2-strike fouls keeps him in this at bat with a runner in scoring position. Part of the reason the Mammoths have been the best offense in the league this year is because of how they hit in this situation. They're the best hitting team with runners on second or third. Swing and a miss. Good splitter again from Harvin. Records strikeout number 3 in a big spot. So now, again, as we mentioned, Burl Dixon pulled his groin on the bunt. So Nick Webb taking over for him. So Webb out in left field defensively. Dre Williams Nelson takes over in center. Webb looks at a ball outside. Webb fresh off the injured list himself. He spent a long time on the injured list for these Mammoths. Just glad to be back in the lineup. Has only played 1 game off the IR and now ropes one to right. Being waved around is Combs. Up with the throw is Diaz. The throw to the plate is not in time. Combs is safe, and Nick Webb comes through big time to tie this game at 1 apiece with 2 outs in the 3rd. How about Webb? Just working his way back from injury. They're taking their time with him. He played in a non-public in his first game back. Now gets called upon after an injury to one of his teammates. Comes through in the clutch with 2 down. RBI single to right. Now Dre Williams Nelson looks at ball 1. Williams Nelson waits on the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fastball in. Got to him. The 1-1. Check swing. Strike anyways. Harvin a strike away from getting out of this inning. On the ground, a short, fielded on the backhand by Baggett. He'll go to first for the throw. They get the 3rd out, but Nick Webb coming through off the bench has to fill in. He's already made one good play defensively and now gets an RBI single to tie this game at 1 apiece between the Unicorns and the Mammoths on Mardi Gras night as we finish up the bottom of the third. Now Kara Wolfbauer has the Chevy fan of the game.
Fan of the game. Give him a big round of applause. Let's hear it for him. There we go. Stelios is going into his sophomore year of high school, and he was telling me he's a baseball player. He's an outfielder. I was an outfielder in college, so we connected right away, and I think we're best friends now. So that's why we had to choose Stelios as our Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers fan of the game. But if you guys did not get selected today, make sure to check out that video board. Get those phones out. I'm watching. Get those phones out. Scan that QR code for a chance to win 4 front row tickets to our championship game. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Stelios, and we'll send it back up to the boys in the booth.
Thank you, Kara. We talked about the Mammoths being in first place coming into tonight. There you see the standings. They're tied with the Hoppers, 20 and 16. So it's really either first or second place after tonight with the Mammoths. They can take lone first with a win, or they'll drop into second with a loss. It'll be a half-game lead either way for the Mammoths or the Hoppers. Beavers a couple games back, 3.5 to be exact, down in third, and the Unicorns on a 7-game losing streak. Think about that. That win-loss record a couple weeks ago read 14 and 12, 2 games above 500. Now 5 below and 4.5 back in the league. Obviously, with just 4 teams in the league, all will make the playoffs. The way it's set up, the 4th seed and the 3rd seed will play each other on, I believe it's Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday, September 7th. The 3 will play the 4. The winner of that will play the 2 seed on the 8th. And the 1 seed gets a bye all the way to the championship on Saturday, September 9th. Diaz sounds like he broke his bat on the ground ball to second. Seltzer pulls it off the dirt and throws him out at first. 4-3 on the first put out. Carson Ferry still on the bump for the Mammoths. So as of right now, the Mammoths are eyeing that Saturday game as maybe where they play. The interesting thing to always think about with the USPBL playoffs is the final weekend of the regular season is September 1st and 2nd. That's a Friday and a Saturday. There are no non-publics between September 2nd and September 7th, the start of the playoffs. There are no regular season games at all. So you could theoretically be the first place team, play on September 2nd, and then not play with a first place bye until the championship on September 9th. 7 whole days without playing a live game. That's the longest any of these players will go this summer without live at-bats. It happened last year, and we talked to the Unicorns who were in first place, and they had to go with that much time off, and they said they tried their best to get live at-bats when they could in practice, up and in on Curiel in the 0-2, and just barely avoided that somehow. You try your best to get live at-bats, but it's weird. So I've talked to a couple of guys that say they almost prefer to be the 2 seed, so you at least get a bye into the semis, but it's one less day to go without live pitching, live fielding, and in-game actual playoff atmosphere. Combs can't believe it wasn't a strike. Looked around a couple times. It's 2-2. So understandably, in a league with just 4 teams, the standings don't mean too much as far as playoff implications. Every team's going to make it, and anything can happen in single elimination playoff baseball. But it is something, it's interesting to have 7 days off and be in the championship. It's something to talk about. Something to think about when watching these games. You know, it might take one time through the order, a couple innings for the first place team in that championship game to kind of kick the rust off. Curiel's seen a couple curveballs, 2 in a row from Ferry, fought them both off foul. 6 pitches, number 7 on the way, number 75 already in the bank for Ferry. Two. Another curveball and another foul. Bullpen not busy. Neither of them. Namely talking about the Mammoths. No one's up and even stirring, which is a surprise with Ferry approaching 80 pitches. 2-2, another curveball and another foul. Who is going to break first? Combs with a smile. He tried to catch that one as Curiel tipped it before it hit the dirt, and I think that might be what the smile's about, is he just didn't quite get it. Two again. Curveball again. This one's in play to third. Garbasic throws him out. 2 up and 2 down. 5-3 on the putout. A 9-pitch battle belongs to Carson Ferry. Again, only one hit, excuse me, for the Unicorns. Almost 2 times through the order. Baggett will be the completion of the second time through. 1 base hit came from Nick Pastor. Pitch curveball. Ferry seems to be gaining command as we've gone on with that curveball. It's spotted a lot better at the bottom and under the zone in the last couple times. We saw how many times he threw it to Curiel. As we mentioned before this inning, he probably only threw it a handful of times, 5 or 6, inside with the fastball, and Baggett caught a piece. Bonnie Tremblay on Facebook says, "You got this, Mammoths," and then also go Patrick. Patrick Baggett, Patrick Mills. Which one, Bonnie? Probably Mills if you're rooting for the Mammoths. On the ground, in play, first base, it jumps over Liam. Nothing you can do there. This might be extra bases for Baggett. Patrick Mills up with the throw, and Patrick Baggett is safe at second. Fox Liam, nothing he can do about that. Was set up perfectly to field the 2-hopper, and on the second hop, it skipped right over his head. Keeps this inning alive with 2 outs. That cannot be scored anything other than a hit. So Patrick Baggett has gone 5 plate appearances in a row getting on base. His first hit of the night. A little bit lucky, but he gets to second and in scoring position for the top of the order. That's Lucas Gooden batting for the 3rd time, and he takes strike 1 on the fastball. Check swing as it's in the dirt, did not go. So interesting to see Ferry go to the curveball more. Typically, you don't see guys on the pitches that spin continue to throw it if it's missing. Swing and a miss on the fastball, tipped into the glove actually. But for Ferry, with the mix being only 3 pitches and the changeup few and far between, he really has no choice. If guys are hitting the fastball, you got to start throwing the curve. I think he has to get some credit here for starting to spin it in there a little bit better. The first few curves that we saw were backing up on left-handed hitters. They were ducking out of the way. Some of the others were nowhere near the zone. But in the last few at-bats, he's induced some swing and miss. Looking to do it again on the 2-2. We'll see what he goes with. Combs setting up low and away. Baggett off a second. Fastball just off the plate. Baggett going on the pitch. The 3-2 on the ground to second. right into the glove of Seltzer. A clean hop this time, and the Mammoths are out of the inning unscathed. A bad hop over Fox Liam puts Patrick Baggett on, but he's promptly stranded at second base. Nothing doing for the Mammoths as we head to the next inning on the US PBL Network.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Bottom of the fourth. That's where we are here at Jimmy John's Field. Tied at 1 apiece between the Unicorns and the Mammoths. The Mammoths batting. It'll be Mills, Liam, and Morris here in the bottom of the fourth. Tied at 1 apiece on a beautiful Saturday night. Mardi Gras night. We've got some beads around the ballpark. Some Mardi Gras music. We've got a live band. The Real Happy Band. That's their name. Out in right center field at the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union soundstage. So glad you could join us here in the US PBL Network. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Labor Day weekend coming up. Summer coming to a close. Football started. We had some preseason last night. The Lions played locally. There's some other preseason games going on tonight. College football's just around the corner. Playoff baseball becoming a storyline. We're about 120 games into the MLB season, so only a couple games left before we're playing October baseball, everybody's favorite. Fastball top of the zone for strike 2. Tristan Harvin working on his 4th inning. Pitch count way low. 42 pitches right now on the first batter of his 4th inning. 1-2 misses with the splitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Splitter again. That has been the strikeout pitch tonight. 4 strikeouts, all of them swinging for Harvin as Mills Ks for the 2nd time. Talked about playoff baseball coming up. Take a look at some scores from Major League Baseball. Tigers won today. They're out in Boston 6-2 for all the Michiganders on the broadcast. Tigers, who have been lacking power severely the last couple of years, had 4 home runs, responsible for their 6 runs. Kerry Carpenter had 2. Torkelson had another. He's nearing 20 on the season. Eric Haas had 1 as well. Staying in the AL Central, Twins and Phillies are in the 5th inning in Philadelphia. Liam, high fly ball, right center field. That one is carrying, and you can kiss it goodbye. Fox Liam with number 5 on the year puts the Mammoths in front 2-1 here in the 4th. He's been perhaps the most consistent power hitter all season long. Ever since Liam got here right around the college showcase. 5 home runs in 20 games. And that feels about right. You can't go more than 4 or 5 games without seeing a Fox Liam home run in the box score. talked about Livingston Morris waiting for his power. Just saw it in front of him. See what he can follow it up with. Livingston Morris hard on the ground through the infield on the left side. Baggett couldn't get there. Back-to-back knocks. Mammoths got something brewing in the fourth. I don't love to talk about exit velocity on this broadcast. We've talked about it a little bit tonight. He had a 100-mile-an-hour ball earlier. Livingston Morris on that last ground ball, we talked about his power. That last ground ball for Livingston, 108 miles an hour off the bat. That does not happen often in this league. 108 is high by major league standards. Here in the USPBL, that might be the hardest hit ball this season. He is swinging the bat well in the last couple of weeks. So is this guy, Alex Garbasic. Comes into tonight leading the Mammoths in average at 311. Out into center, that's just going to continue to grow. 3 straight hits for the Mammoths. A long ball and 2 singles, 2 on and 1 out. Just a perfect liner into center for the guy who goes by Garbs with his teammates. Now this will get a mound visit out of Nick Caruso. Carsey Walker you saw in the bullpen. We mentioned we're expecting 4 innings or so out of Harvin, 4 or 5, and then Walker would come on. Harvin obviously hoping to just get out of this 4th inning. Now Colby Seltzer will step up for the 2nd time tonight. 2 on and 1 out. Chance to add to a 2-1 lead. Seltzer popped out last inning. That started the 3rd. First pitch. Splitter up. And it's in for a strike. Breaking ball misses 1-1. Continuing to look at some major league scores. Angels and Astros. Big series for the Angels. They're very close, if not already out of the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes with a 7-game losing streak immediately following the trade deadline, in which they bought into their team and tried to add some pieces for a playoff run. Now they're looking in from the outside at the playoffs. They down 4-0 to the Houston Astros down in Houston through 4 innings. Foul back. Braves and Mets in their 2nd game of a doubleheader. The first game, not pretty if you're from New York. 21-3 in favor of Major League's best Atlanta Braves. 1-2 was a splitter that's blocked by Aberrant. Nice job there to keep the runners where they are. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Seltzer. Out west, Padres. Diamondbacks are scoreless. That game just getting underway. No outs recorded yet, actually. Out in Arizona. We'll talk about another team with a losing streak. The Diamondbacks have been terrible in the 2nd half of the season. They were leading the NL West at once. Dodgers have caught fire. The Diamondbacks have slipped. Now the Dodgers look like a World Series favorite. Still a couple games to be played. Rangers and Giants in San Francisco. The aforementioned Dodgers face the Rockies in LA. On the ground to 3rd, scooped up. Weber to 2nd for 1, relay to 1st. Got him, double play. big spot. Tristan Harvin gives up the long ball to Fox Liam. It's followed by a pair of singles from Morris and Garbasic. But then Seltzer bounces out to an inning-ending double play to keep it close. 2-1 here on a beautiful Saturday night from Jimmy John's Field on the US PBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are operating engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Is there a better way to watch baseball? Chilling in the grass, chance for a home run if you want it, but just relaxed, Hawaiian shirt, towel laid out, great view, great night, great game. 2-1 right now between the Mammoths and the Unicorns. It's still Carson Ferry's game. We're talking about 90 and 100 pitches now as we're into the fifth. They'll face the 2, 3, and 4, Enriquez, Baker, and Aberrett of the Unicorns. Now with a one-run lead thanks to the first baseman, Fox Liam, who hit his 5th home run of the season. Can't help but feel like the Mammoths should have had more in that inning. 2 on with only 1 out after 3 straight base hits. Seemed like they were getting to Harvin, and then he got exactly what he needed. A ground ball to third from Colby Seltzer that ended the inning on a 5-4-3 double play. Tyler Richley is milling over at the Mammoths bullpen. Milling around, I should say. He was in the bullpen for a second. Now he's walking back towards the dugout. Likely the last inning for Ferry. As we're at 87 pitches. First one to Enriquez is a fastball low. Velocity has tapered off a little bit. Gone from 92 on the top end to the last couple have been 89, 90. Still looks like a good fastball today, though. Enriquez pops it foul. Not playable for anyone. Righty, lefty, righty scheduled in the 5th against the lefty Ferry. The 1-1. And looped foul. Liam running over and won't get it. Sounded like that might have broken the bat of Enriquez. He heads back towards the Unicorns dugout, so it likely did. Never fun for these guys to break a bat. Orioles and Mariners still to play tonight in Major League Baseball. That's at 9:40. National game on FS1 out in Seattle. Baltimore's been the best team in the AL this year. Surprised that moniker doesn't belong to the Rays, but Rays have slipped in the second half of the season. Baltimore's really turned it up. The 1-2 to Enriquez. Thought about it, didn't offer it the curveball. Ferry wanted the call too. Instead, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of the Rays, Randy Arozarena with a walk-off today against the Guardians, 6-5. They win that game earlier. 2-2 misses low. This is the, by my unofficial scorecard, 8th 3-ball count that Carson Ferry has been in. He's been in a number of full counts as well. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's outside for ball 4 and walk 6 on the box score for Ferry tonight. Did go 6 batters without a walk. Now the leadoff man is on, and Enriquez, who's on for the 2nd time tonight, both by walks. Josh Baker digs in. Lefty-lefty, first pitch fouled away. Baker 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. In our short 7-inning game last night, Josh only got to the plate 3 times. Obviously, he's upset likely with a loss last night, but maybe a little bit more than some of his other teammates, because had that game gone past the 7th inning, he was due up. If the Unicorns got 2 more outs, Josh would have been the next batter to lead things off in the 8th. He did reach twice last night, once via a base hit and once via a walk. Behind in this count, 0-2. On the ground to Seltzer, scoop it, turn to second for 1, relay to first. Nice double play. Colby Seltzer with a good twist at second. The relay from Austin was in time. It goes 4-6-3. And now 2 outs. That's the 3rd double play we've had between these 2 teams tonight. We talked earlier about Seltzer and his struggles at the plate in the start of this season. And if you want to know why he was able to stay with these Mammoths through those struggles, that last play is a perfect example of it. Rock solid defensively in the middle and corner infield. He played a little bit of third as well this season. Pretty much any infield position, it's not first base or catcher, Seltzer can play and is good at. 2-0 to the catcher, Aberrett. Curveball above the zone. 3 balls, no strikes. Sun nearly set, which means the entire field now covered in shadows. Much easier at this time of night for hitters to see. And maybe that last inning, an example of that with 3 hits from the Mammoths, including the home run. 3-0, Aberrett taking all the way. And he walked him on 4 pitches.
Next up, the center fielder, number 22, Nick Pastor.
Couple of fans watching from a very unique view. Straightaway center. And this is what they see. They're right next to our pitching camera. First pitch to Pastor. Fastball up. Nick singled last time. For a while, he had the only hit on Carson Ferry. And he's got the 3rd hit on Ferry with 2 outs. It's a little ground ball into center field to keep the inning going. His 2nd of the night, 2nd in a row. Both to center field. One a little looper, that one on the ground. Aberrett goes to second base. And now Jared Weber bats again. Didn't really notice it when Aberrett walked on 4 pitches. He's been on 3 times tonight, all by a walk. Taylor Jellikowski comes out. This is likely it for Carson Ferry. He got 2 outs. Jelly gave him 2 more batters, and Ferry's day is done. His 2023 debut is over. He gives up only 1 run, and he leaves with a lead. It's 2-1 Mammoths in the top of the 5th, 2 down Ferry throws 102 pitches, and Tyler Richley is going to come on to get him out of the fifth with a couple runners on when we come back on the US PBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Tyler Richley taking over on the mound for Carson Ferry. Comes in with a small jam. Runners on first and second, but with 2 outs here in the fifth. So Carson Ferry's 2023 debut is over. He leaves to YMCA. Some fans enjoying it here at Jimmy John's Field. Ferry goes 4 2/3 innings. Only gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run. Those are the positives. The negatives, 7 walks to just 3 strikeouts. And Ferry has never been a guy to give up many hits. He doesn't get hit hard. And he didn't tonight. But able to strand 6 of the 7 walks and leave with a lead. Jared Weber hoping he can change that right now against the Durango, Colorado native, Tyler Richley. First pitch, righty on righty. Sweeper outside. 1 ball, no strikes. The mix for Richley: 4-seam, cutter, curveball, sweeper, changeup. Relies a lot on the cutter and the sweeper. That pitch right there, the sweeper, he's become a big fan of in recent days. He's worked a lot on developing his mix. It's a different mix than last year. This one's past him and under a diving Colby Seltzer. Runners will hold. Williams Nelson throws back to third base to keep Aberrett honest. Unicorns elect to go bases loaded with 2 outs. Good knock from Jared Weber up the middle. Now it's up to Angel Diaz to bring the runners around. We talked earlier with the Mammoths, indications of the best offense in the league this year. And when we talk about that, we talk about how they hit with runners in scoring position. Indications of the worst offense so far? The Unicorns as well. Lowest league average with runners in scoring position. Now a pinch hitter strides to the plate for the Unicorns. Phil Matulia taking the place of Diaz. So not entirely sure of why Jim Messian and Nick Caruso want Matulia in this position. Could be because it's a lefty against Richley. Richley much better against righties. Bases loaded, 1-1 on Matulia. Check swing, thought about it. Was able to hold back, 2 balls, 1 strike. Matulia, 23 years old, out of Houston, Texas. New to the league, playing in game number 6. He's 4 for 13 in his start. 1-2. That get tipped. So they said that it was supposed to be 2-1 by my count, but that last one on what we thought was ball 2 was actually tipped by Matulia and fouled to make it 1-2, and he fouled that one off as well, so it's still 1-2. Richley comes set, checks Aberett at third, delivers the 1-2, smoked high and foul. Matulia jumped on an off speed at 80 miles an hour. And 2 again. After a couple foul balls. Fastball misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned Richley's struggles against lefties this year. That's a surprise given that he was essentially unhittable from the left side last year with these Mammoths. 2-2, swing and a miss. Got him. Big strikeout for Tyler Richley. Went with the breaking ball again, and Matulia was way out in front of it. The Unicorns scare with the bases loaded, but leave them that way. Till 2-1 Mammoths here on the US PBL Network.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early. Giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees. And helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Tristan Harvin's day is done. That means it's Carsey Walker's turn on the mound for the Unicorns, trailing 2-1 against the Mammoths here in the bottom of the 5th. Harvin really good through 3 innings. Kept the pitch count low, kept the hit totals low, only gave up 1 run. That 4th inning had a little bit more damage. The solo shot from Fox Liam was followed up by a pair of singles from Livingston Morris and Alex Garbasic. So the final line reads 4 innings for Harvin, 6 hits total, 2 earned runs, did not walk anybody, and struck out 4 batters, so that's always good. And now Carsey Walker will take over on the piggyback start. So 4 innings for Harvin. We're expecting 4, maybe even 5 from Carsey, a guy who has been one of the best arms coupled with Harvin in the Unicorns pitching staff this season. Walker has been both out of the pen and a starter. This is appearance number 16. He's made 7 starts this summer. An ERA below 5 in 40 innings. 10 walks to 33 strikeouts. Walker is a pitch-to-contact pitcher. 4-seam sinker, slider, changeup, and that sinker is the pitch that he relies on a lot. It gets some swing and miss, and it also induces a lot of ground balls. Combs due up. Takes a ball low on the fastball. So with a pitch-to-contact pitcher, often you see a high opposing batting average and a low ERA, and that is the exact case with Carsey this year. Opponents at one point were hitting above 300. He's brought that down in the last couple starts. 263 on the year. 2-0, slider in. Walker likes facing the righties better than the lefties. He's facing the righty Combs right now. Waves the bat around twice. Walker comes set on the 2-1. Slider missing low and away. Combs with a good take. 3 balls and 1 strike. Scott had the double last inning that he was able to score on, or score after, I should say, when Webb came to the plate. Walker delivers the 3-1. Combs to the right side. Long run. It'll just scoot foul. Nobody able to get there. That'll fill the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes on the catcher. So both starters out of this game. We're into the bullpen days in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Mammoths here from Jimmy John's Field. 5th inning brought to you as always by Fifth Third Bank. Combs uses his timeout. Now digs back in. Tight and deep in the right-handed batter's box. Walker with the glove set at the belt, lifts the leg, drives to home plate. 3-2 fought off foul back to the screen. That was a fastball. And Combs will see another. Scott hit almost 260 with the Diamond Hoppers last summer. 3-2 again, and another foul ball. He spoils a good slider from Walker. He was way out in front of it. Barely able to tip it. This year with the Mammoths, Combs playing in his 11th game. He's off to an 8-for-29 start. Walker gets the sign, sets, shakes his head, delivers the 3-2 again. Combs out to left, hanging up just long enough for Baker, who actually has to dive and make the grab. They ruled him out. Baker went back a couple steps at first, then came in and kind of fell forward into the ball and got the glove under it before it touched grass, and Combs is out. Combs heads back to the dugout as Trevor Austin comes up. There's a little confusion. The home plate umpire ruled that it was out. Combs was looking to our fielding umpire to see if maybe he had a different ruling. It is the first out. So after a long 10-pitch battle, Walker throws a slider for a strike to Trevor Austin. Austin struck out last time up. That was against the starter, Harvin. The righty on righty faces Walker in relief. Slider on the front door. Austin backs out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Walker all season long has kept the walks low and the strikeouts up. Delivers the 1-1. Another slider. Spinning it well right now. It's fought off foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Walk rate below 3, strikeout rate above 9 for Carsey. And the 1-2. Slider again, fought off foul. Again, it's a 4-pitch mix. 4-seam fastball coupled with a sinker, and then that slider that we've seen a bunch. He does have a changeup. Doesn't use it as often. 1-2. Now goes back to the fastball. Couldn't spot it low and away. Misses. 2-2. .91 on the last heater from Walker. He's been low 90s all season long. Now 2-2. Setting up low is Aberrett. Lined into right, and it'll go foul off the bat of Austin. Mammoths with 2 long at-bats against Carsey in his first 2 at-bats. We mentioned Combs saw 10 pitches. Austin's already seen 6 as he waits for number 7. Walker walks around the mound, now steps on the rubber, works the middle of the rubber, the righty. Sets with the glove at the belt, now delivers a slider under the zone. Full count again. Back-to-back full counts. Austin ready, hands at the right shoulder, pulls the bat back and fouls one off. Walker came in with the heater. 3 2-strike fouls for Trevor Austin. 3-2 again. Slider, check swing. He did not go on the appeal to first. Aberrett was begging for it, thought he got the strikeout. Walker can do nothing but groan in disgust as Trevor Austin trots to first base on a long battle, resulting in a walk. As we mentioned, Harvin went 4 complete innings without walking anybody. That's the first Mammoths walk of the night. It turns the lineup over to Nick Webb, who's already got an RBI single on the night. First pitch skips in the dirt, gets away from Aberrett. Heading down to second is Austin. He'll stop there. Wild pitch. On the 2-seam, I believe it was, the sinker. Gets away from Aberrett. Advances the runner to scoring position. Again, Webb wasn't expecting to play tonight. Burl Dixon with an injury after his leadoff bunt to start the game. Webb had to come on. He made a good play in left, and then had the RBI single in the third to open up the scoring for the Mammoths. They lead it 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. Austin at second. Webb in the left-handed batter's box, tight to the plate. Walker checks the runner once, now delivers the pitch. Slider under the zone. 2-0. 3 lefties in the lineup tonight. Funny how it works out for Taylor Jellikowski. He loses his lefty and one of his best hitters in Dixon to the injury and can just pull another lefty off the bench in Webb. 2-0, hard on the ground to right, and it's scooped up by Gooden at first base. He'll step on the bag himself as he waves Walker off. Advancing to third was Austin. 90 feet from home, but 2 outs as Dre Williams-Nelson strides to the plate. Williams-Nelson, a pair of groundouts, including a double play back in the first. Fun guy to watch. Kind of surprised the numbers aren't a little bit better with how energetic he is and how hard he works. Comes into today with a .250 average. First pitch, slider bounces. Aberrett blocked it, saving a run. This league is no stranger to runs scored on wild pitches, and Aberrett just saved one right there. Walker comes set. Williams-Nelson waves the bat twice on the waggle. Hits a high bouncer to short. Baggett fields on the backhand, quickly throws. They got him at first. Williams-Nelson, a lot of speed. That's a tough play for Patrick Baggett, and he saves a run with Austin bounding for home. Mammoths threaten again, trying to add to their lead, but it's still 2-1 as we head to the 6th here on the US PBL Network.
We're for people. The pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Good night for baseball. Good game we've got so far. 2-1 Mammoths as we're ready to start the 6th inning between the Mammoths and the Unicorns. Batting for the Unicorns this inning, Donovan Curiel, Patrick Baggett, and Lucas Gooden, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. They're facing Tyler Richley, who came on to end the 5th. surrendered a base hit to Jared Weber to load the bases, but struck out Phil Matulia, who was pinch hitting. Richley was able to get out of it. He's been a fantastic reliever all year long, Richley. He's only made one start. The rest have been in relief, and he's got a sub-4 ERA. Tyler leads the Mammoths in strikeout rate, nearly 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. The walks are a little bit up too. That number is at 7 per 9. But he doesn't get hit often, and he doesn't get hit hard. He's been a valuable arm out of the bullpen for Taylor Jellikowski. Fires a first pitch fastball on the outside edge to the righty Donovan Curiel. Curiel's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Oh, 1 sweeper. Not sure where it missed, but it missed. Richley sets with the glove at the belt, digs in to get the grip. It's the sweeper grip, and he paints it perfectly low and away for strike number 2. Curiel yet to take the bat off the shoulder as he calls timeout behind 1 and 2. Richley has those 3 pitches that break away from a righty and into a lefty. The cutter, curveball, sweeper. Fast, slow, and slower. Again, the changeup and four seam the other 2. On the 1-2, he goes with another sweeper that just misses a little bit too far outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Curiel was able to lay off of it. Sort of checked his swing, but did not. Now digs in with that high right elbow behind the right ear. Waggles the bat around a couple times. The 2-2. Back to the sweeper. Appeal to first. Didn't go. Three balls and 2 strikes. Curiel disciplined at the plate. Hasn't resulted in a lot of walks, but he has a lot of long at-bats this summer. The payoff pitch. Fights it off foul. High 3-2 again. That one is a sweeper way up, and Curiel, a very long at bat, works a great walk to start off this inning in the 6th. First walk for Tyler Richley. By myself tonight, Brennan Shabath bringing you this one here on the US PBL Network. Join us tomorrow, 105, Mammoths and Beavers. Mammoths playing in back-to-back days. Unicorns, this is their second game of a back-to-back. Hoppers relaxing this weekend with only 1 game. Unicorns play 4 times next weekend. They play a non-public on Tuesday. And then Friday, Saturday. Supposed to be another game in there for them. I believe it might be a doubleheader on Tuesday. Baggett fouls the 0-2 away. Patrick Baggett tonight reached in both plate appearances, 1 on a fielder's choice, 1 on a single. Richley delivers the 0-2 to the lefty. Switch hitter, I should say, batting left. Baggett's essentially been a lefty all year long, with so many righties in the league. The 1-2, runner goes, and it's sliced foul. Curiel has to go back to first. You want to look at the difference of Baggett batting on the right side or the left. He's bat on the right side 13 times this year, and on the left, 85. 1-2. Fastball outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Patrick has reached in his last 5 plate appearances. When you go back to last night, had a pair of hits and reached on an error. Curiel off of first. Richley waits a beat. Now Curiel goes on the 2-2, swing and a miss. Strike him out, throw down to second. Curiel slides in there safely as the throw from Combs bounces in to the glove of Trevor Austin. Curiel with a steal. Baggett goes down swinging. That's the first out. Second strikeout for Richley in his first 4 batters faced coming out of the bullpen. Now the lineup turns over to Lucas Gooden, who digs in for the 4th time. Another lefty. Gooden swung the bat well, but hasn't been rewarded. Chance to do some damage with a runner in scoring position. It gets away from Combs, and Curiel's going to get 90 feet closer. Slider that bounced, and it was blocked by Combs, but it went about 10 feet to his right, and that was all that the speedy Curiel needed to get over to third. Curiel walks, advances on a stolen base and a wild pitch. He's 90 feet away from tying this game. Gooden with that deep right foot now brings it close as he gets ready and looks at a fastball up and away. 2 balls and no strikes on the leadoff man. The 2-0. Sweeper strike. Gooden was robbed of extra bases and an RBI back in the second by the right fielder Patrick Mills. Little soft liner into the gap in right, and Mills laid out for it to bring back a run. The 2-1 on the ground to first, scooped on the backhand by Liam. He checks the runner. Now he has to beat Gooden to the bag. Did he get there in time? He tagged him, and they ruled him out. Took forever for our field umpire to make a decision. Liam raced to first base. He was pulled off the bag. The infield drawn in with the runner at third and 1 out. Liam fielded on the backhand on a hop and had to race a long way, probably 15 or 20 feet to the first base bag. He wasn't going to beat Gooden to the foot, so he reached out and tagged him, and Gooden is ruled out. Curiel held at third because Liam checked him before racing back to the base. So now there's 2 down for Ramon Enriquez. Enriquez checks his swing on the slider outside. He did not go on the appeal. 1-0. Enriquez 0 for 1. 2 walks and a strikeout in his second game here in the USPBL. Actually delivers the 1-0. Another slider, this one on the front door, 1-1. Curveball, bottom of the zone. Enriquez thought it was low, but it's a called strike. He falls behind 1-2. Richley in a comfortable position, right on right. A strike away from getting out of this little jam. Enriquez will call timeout and make Richley think it over a little bit longer. Tyler's a guy who doesn't take a ton of time. He's ready to go as soon as he gets the ball back. Pitch clock, no worry for him. He comes set after getting the sign from Combs, checks the runner, 1 deep breath, holds the glove at the belt, fires a sweeper, and the whole defense shifted because they thought it was strike 3 called. They want an appeal. They do get an appeal on the check swing, and he did not go, so that's ball 2. 2-2. Boy, the defense all went 10 feet towards the dugout. Richley works third base side of the rubber, plants the left foot as he comes set, lifts the knee, delivers another breaking ball outside. It's a curveball that time, a little bit slower than the sweeper. 3-2 now. Richley's faced 4 batters in this inning. 3 of them have worked it to a full count. He's coming up on pitch number 33. Enriquez waggles the bat a couple times. Richley delivers. Sweeper got him, strike 3. Swing and a miss on the sweeper up in the zone, and Richley avoids the trouble again. Strands Curiel at third and hangs on to a 2-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th here on the USPBL Network.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
As always, in between the top and bottom of the 6th inning, shake it off here at the ballpark. Video board showing the video of some players doing the dance to the Taylor Swift hit single. The USPBL dance crew dancing to it. Unicorns trying to shake off some offensive jitters. They've got 1 run on 4 hits tonight. They've stranded 10 runners on base. For context, on the other side, the Mammoths just 2 runs on 6 hits, and they've only left 3 guys on. The ability to bring a couple runners home, even though there haven't been a ton. Patrick Mills looks at a fastball under the zone from Carsey Walker. It'll be Mills, Liam, and Morris in the bottom of the 6th. Walker set for the 1-0. Well outside with the slider. 2 balls and no strikes. Carsey came on to start last inning, the 5th. 3 contact outs and a walk. Through 22 pitches. Mills on the ground to second. Curiel going back a few steps, spinning, turning to first. Pulled Gooden off the bag a little bit, but he goes into foul territory to make the catch and kept his foot on the bag to record the out as Mills bounces out. Nice play on both ends by Curiel and Gooden. 4-3 the put out for the first out as Fox Liam steps into the left-handed batter's box for the first time since his solo shot off Tristan Harvin in the 4th inning. His 5th of the year to lead the Mammoths. First pitch fastball that skipped off the knee of Aberrett, low and away, 1 ball, no strikes. We knew when Liam got here he was maybe going to bring some power. Any player that comes out of college to the USPBL, not only Division I, the Division I guys always get a double take because there aren't a ton in the league, but Division I, SEC, Missouri, the best college baseball conference in America. We knew Fox Liam was a threat to do some things as he swings through a high fastball, 1-1, and he has done that. A 1.081 OPS in his first 20 games with the Mammoths. Fastball up and away to the lefty, 2-1. Leads the team in every major hitting category. Average on base slug. Waits on the 2-1 from the left side, deep in the left-handed batter's box. Takes a big cut and miss on the fastball up. Walker staying with the fastball against the lefty Liam. Fox has been much better against right-handed pitching than lefties this season. Carsey sets, delivers the 2-2. Hard on the ground, 2 bounces to Curiel, fields it at the shoulder and throws over to the first. Back-to-back 4-3 putouts for 2 outs. Now Livingston Morris's turn, who singled last time. We talked about his power. That slow, menacing walk to home plate for the 6'4", 245-pound designated hitter tonight. Thought about offering at the slider up. Did not, and a good decision. 1 ball, no strikes. Walker gets it back. Gets the sign from Aberrett, calling for a pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes. Slider, they go back to it, and it's a perfect pitch. Gets a swing and a miss. 1-1. You can see Aberrett asking Walker to bury that slider. Can't hang it to a guy like this. We know he's going to do damage at some point. Damage in a big way. Just waiting for it. The 1-1 slider fouled away. So they're sticking with the off speed against the Woodstock, Georgia native. Morris, a member of the Georgia Gwinnett to the USPBL pipeline, won a national championship there. It was all conference in 2022. Now waits on the 1-2. Fastball in, caught a piece of it. Like the mix from Walker. The slow stuff to start. Then going hard in on the fastball, but Morris able to stay alive. Walker at 34 pitches. We mentioned he's made 7 starts this year, so that's no issue for him. He's gone as deep as 7 innings. Now the 1-2. Slider away, and Livingston Morris catches another piece of it. Some really good at-bats collectively in this game. Fighting off foul balls, taking close pitches for balls, and working some walks, some base hits between both teams. This is another example for Morris. He fought off 2 really good pitches, a fastball in and a slider spotted perfectly low and away. Another slider, this one's more low and away. 2-2 as Morris watched it go by. Livingston waves the bat towards the pitcher once as he brings it up to the shoulder. Those hands tight, elbows in as Walker lifts the knee and delivers a fastball called strike 3. Sinker froze Morris, nowhere to go with it, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Carsey Walker. Keeps us right where we are as we head to the 7th, 2-1 in favor of the Mammoths here from Jimmy John's Field.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Seventh inning, sun is set, lights are on, and it's a close game again between the Mammoths and the Unicorns. We had a close one last night, Unicorns and Hoppers. 2-1 was the final in just 7 innings there. As we mentioned, the rain came, the storm caused that game to end early. No danger of that tonight. A gorgeous, clear night above Utica. And we'll continue to play baseball. 2-1. Mammoths lead the Unicorns. Josh Baker, Felix Averett, Nick Pastor, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, looking to change that here in the 7th. Richley still on the mound in relief. First pitch, slider hit the other way on the ground to third. Garbasic throws over to first, and Baker's out on 1 pitch. 5-3 the put out. Felix Averett, who has done nothing but reach first base by walks tonight. He reached via the walk in the first inning and was stranded at first. Then in his second at-bat, walked and got to second base and was stranded there. And then in his third at-bat, walked, got to third base, and was stranded there. If history is any indication, this should be a walk, and Averett will eventually come around to score, right? He looks at a first pitch outside. We're on track as the sweeper misses. 1-0, that one's in for a strike. Slider, 1-1. So the difference between these pitches, curveball, sweeper, slash slider, sweeper and slider are effectively the same. As Richley delivers the 1-1. That's a sweeper. Outside edge called for a strike. Is the velocity. The curveball's the slower one. Sweeper is a little bit harder, and then the cutter even harder than that with less movement. 1-2. With the big bending curve, it nearly came back down. Tight break but it held up above the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Aberrett took it all the way. Waves the bat around twice, pulls it with the hands out, 2-2. Back to the slider, and he didn't get the call as Combs framed it well. Another full count against Richley. Aberrett leans back as he pulls the bat in. Richley comes set with the glove at the belt, lifts the right knee, delivers a fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Aberrett doesn't walk this time in his 4th plate appearance. That's the 4th strikeout for Tyler Richley. We mentioned he comes out of the bullpen and just simply throws strikes, leading the Mammoths in strikeout rate this season. Now we'll face a lefty, Nick Pastor. 2 down and nobody on. First pitch fastball, bottom of the zone, perfectly placed, strike 1. 41 pitches for Richley. Pastor wiggles into the box as Richley gets the sign from Combs. Fires another fastball low. Same exact spot. Pastor fought it off foul. Nick, a pair of singles. 2 for 3 on the night. Consistent high batting average all season long for Pastor and a good defensive center field. Whoa, that curveball way up and outside, nearly over the head of Combs. The velocity on that one, 68. The slowest we've seen from Richley. He tapped his chest to say, my bad, right away. It just got away from him. Now he'll get ready for the 1-2. Check swing. Pastor went around, but it gets past Combs, and he will coast to first base on the drop third strike, easily reaching. So strikeout number 5, but the inning not done. Jared Weber will come up now. So Pastor reaches for the 3rd time in a row. Jared Weber singled last time up. Had a hard hit ball to left earlier in the game that Nick Webb, who came in for the injured Burl Dixon, made a great leaping grab, a leap directly up. It should have been hit over his head. It was hit so hard. But he reached up, leaped up, and made the catch. Pastor off of first, has speed, bouncing a couple times, a huge lead. He's going on the pitch, got a huge jump. Combs to throw it onto second, over to the left field side. Pastor slides in safely, head first. Gets in scoring position quickly after reaching on the drop third strike, and that might be big. Pastor's got enough speed, a base hit anywhere should score him. In a close 2-1 game, don't expect him to be held with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Richley comes set, the right on right. Pastor not being held on by the infield. Slider in for a strike, bottom of the zone. The first pitch that Pastor ran on was outside, so it's 1-1. Pastor still bouncing at second on a 12-foot primary lead. Combs frames the fastball low and away and won't get the call. 2-1. Fastball skips in. It's actually the changeup from Richley. Threw it about 57 feet. Combs a great job to block it and keep the runner right where he is at second base. Weber this season better against left-handed pitching than right. Richley, the righty, comes set, plants that left foot just a few feet in front of the right. Delivers outside, ball 4. Richley has only walked 1 batter since coming on. That's the 2nd. The inning's still going. Should have been out of it, but a drop third strike kept it alive. Now 2 on and 2 out for Phil Matulia. Good at bat from Weber to hang off those breaking pitches low and outside and not swing at those. Those get the most swing and miss than any other pitch that Richley throws. He delivers a fastball low and in. Matulia lays off. Ball 1. Combs calls for the sweeper. Richley comes set, doesn't check any runners, just fires it in. It's actually a fastball through the right side, a base hit. Being waved around is Pastor. Up with the throw is Mills. The throw was in time, but Combs dropped it. Pastor is safe as Combs drops it. Both runners advance another 90 feet. The Unicorns have tied it here in the 7th. Matulia with a well-placed ground ball to right. It was a good, strong throw from Mills, almost too strong. A little bit high and up the third base line, but it beat Pastor to the plate. But Combs dropped it as he tried to come down with the tag, and the drop third strike comes to bite the Mammoths as Pastor, who reached that way, scores to tie this game. Taylor Jilikowski will come out, and I think Tyler Richley's day is done. The reliever has thrown 51 pitches, and he'll hand the ball to the manager. Pitching change here in the USPBL Network. The Unicorns have tied it 2-2 in the 7th.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Unicorns, a little bit of luck, a little bit of timely hitting with 2 outs. Nick Pastor reaches on a drop third strike. Jared Weber walks. Phil Matulia singles to bring Pastor around a score. They've tied it at 2 apiece in the top of the 7th. Still 2 down with 2 on. It's Weber at third, Matulia at second. They both advanced on the throw home from Patrick Mills out in right field. So Donovan Curiel steps up. He'll face the 23-year-old from Norcross, Georgia, Jonathan Hab, out of the bullpen. Right on right, Hab, a hard fastball, throws it in at 94, inside part of the plate, strike 1. Hab, lowest walks for the Mammoths this season. Walk rate, that is, the 0-1. High and tight. Curiel, for the second time tonight, has to dance out of the way of a fastball up near his jaw. Does get out of the way. Hab with those bright yellow shoes that does not complement the blue and white uniforms of the Mammoths very well. Works the middle of the rubber. Quickly pulls that knee up and delivers a fastball strike on the swing and miss from Curiel. Always funny, when I talked to Jonathan the first time, his name is spelled H-A-A-B. When I first talked to him, he said it's pronounced Hab, like cab. And I think about that anytime I look at those yellow shoes, because they remind me of a taxi cab. It's that same like bright, catch your attention yellow, and it just always with the white and blue uniforms looks pretty funny. But you always know where Jonathan Hab is at all times. Time called from Curiel as he waits on the 1-2. Now we're ready. Hab with the glove at the belt, delivers fastball in, swing and a miss. Quickly ends the inning. The Unicorns do tie it. Hab comes on, does his job to get the final out for the strikeout, as it must be the shoes. Now a 7th inning stretch brought to you by Genesis Credit Union. Tied at 2 between the Unicorns and the Mammoths on the USPBL Network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
First pitch on the ground off the bat of Gar Basic. Baggett fields, turns behind second. What a play! Patrick Baggett, that is difficult, and he made it look easy. One pitch and one out. Here in the bottom of the seventh. Nat Colucci on the bump, taking over for Carsey Walker. So Carsey only gets 2 innings of relief work before the Unicorns go deeper into the bullpen. Now Colby Seltzer steps up to the plate. And he takes a first pitch strike. Colucci, 24 innings of work this year, all out of the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Curveball well outside, and he had Seltzer fooled. Seltzer calls his timeout. Digs back in. 0-2. Cutter again. Swing and a miss. That was back-to-back cutters, actually. The first one that Seltzer swung at, and that is a nasty pitch. Mid-80s, late, sharp break, and the first strikeout for Colucci out of the bullpen. First pitch, Cutter dropping in. He is in love with that thing right now, and rightfully so. Has so much control with it. He's oozing command with the cut fastball. Combs waiting on the 0-1. Check swing, and he went. It's been 4 straight cutters and 4 straight strikes. Two with 2 down. Combs just fought it off foul. Went back to it again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as he goes back to the well. Colucci with a 5.5 ERA in those 24 innings so far this year. Low walks and high strikeouts, though. Reared back with the 4-seam there and missed it well outside. He's much better against right-handers than left. It's a 4-pitch mix. The cut fastball. As Combs puts it out to right, ranging over is Diaz. Long run right to the foul line. He dropped it in foul territory. As he fielded it in foul territory as well, rules the field umpire, so it's just a long foul ball. Combs was all the way to second base. Those long 6'4" strides, so he'll take a slow walk back to home plate. So Colucci, it's actually a two-seam fastball, so two-seam cutter, curveball, changeup. And with the way he's throwing that cutter, that's just a nasty mix of pitches. Combs will use his timeout as well as he gets back to the plate. One run for the Unicorns in the second. They go scoreless until this inning, the top half of the seventh. The Mammoths scored a single run in each of the third and the fourth innings. Puts us where we are, tied at 2. Has not been a lot of offense, even in the run scoring. Combined between these two teams, 10 hits. Only one long ball, only 2 extra base hits. Combs in on the hands. Baggett has to field on the backhand throw over to first, and a nice pick from Lucas Good. And Patrick Baggett is having himself a night, both at the plate and in the field. Another nice play gets the final out. It's 1-2-3 for Matt Colucci. We'll head to the 8th. US PBL Network.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry. We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Jonathan Habb came on to save the 7th inning. The damage had already been done to at least tie the game, with Pastor scoring after reaching on the drop third strike. Habb came on in a tough situation. 2 on, 2 out, both in scoring position. And he struck out Donovan Curiel in a 4-pitch battle to end the 7th inning and keep us tied at 2 apiece. So he'll come on again in the 8th against the 9-1-2 Baggett, Gooden, and Enriquez. Mardi Gras night. Hope you've had fun on the broadcast. We've had fun here at Jimmy John's Field. Tomorrow is 100 years of Disney celebration presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. As we mentioned, 1:05 start between Beavers and Mammoths. Mammoths looking to gain sole possession of first place with a win tonight. Tied for first with the Hoppers right now. Patrick Baggett for the 4th time. Digs in. A little bit off the plate in the left-handed batter's box. He looks at a hard fastball high. 92 miles an hour from Habb. Habb, it's 4-seam, slider, curveball, changeup. More slider than curve. More fastball than anything as he misses with another. Goes in the zone this time, and Baggett tipped it 2-1. The batting average climbed above the Mendoza line for Patrick after the last couple games. 204. We talked about it last night a little bit. His value is not shown in that stat. Fouls went away. It can be shown in the difference between that stat and the on base. 204 average, 347 on base as he leads the Unicorns in walks. When he gets on base, he's got speed to get around the bases, and he's one of, if not the best defender on the Unicorns. 2-2. Fastball up. He works the count full. He will make you throw him a strike. More walks than strikeouts on the season for Patrick.
He's either going to walk or strike out. Or hit it.
Waits on the 3-2. Ab comes set. Black leather glove shining in the night lights. It's softly looped to short and a nice running grab by Trevor Austin. Robbing Baggett of a bloop single for the first out. Lineup turns over here in the 8th inning. Lucas Gooden batting for the 5th time. There have not been any base hits from the first 4 in the order tonight for the Unicorns. They do only have 5 hits total. But it's been the bottom half of the order that's hogging all the offense. Enriquez and Abaret, the 2 and 4 hitters, have walked a combined 5 times. Beyond that, everyone in the top 4 has, in one way or another, gotten out. Gooden has gotten out 5 times, or 4 times right now, all contact outs. He looks at a slider inside, 1-1. He's had some good swings. Ball on the ground hard to first base his last time up. And a hard liner to right as well. That was the one where he was robbed of a diving catch. Robbed by a diving catch, I should say. Fastball painted perfectly low and away, 1-2. Curveball missing. Now 2-2. Gooden steps out. Gooden thought it was a pitch clock violation. It is called a pitch clock violation. Okay, so our home umpire deferred to the umpire in the field. Combs thought it was strike 3. He still is surprised at the last second decision. A bit of a mess. Gooden stepped out as he saw zeros on the clock and Hab hadn't delivered. Goes in as ball 3, so it's now a full count. Try it again. Fastball missed. Hab yanked it a little bit, maybe a little shaken up with the confusion after he thought he had the strikeout. Instead, it's a walk. Gooden is on with 1 out. Ramon Enriquez comes up to bat. First walk for Hab. Chevy Pavilion. Waiting for a ball, maybe? Enriquez would love to put one over there right now. First pitch, fastball above the zone. Still just looking at these top 4 hitters tonight. It's basically been 2 outcomes. Walk or strike out. With the walk to Gooden of the first 4 batters in the lineup tonight for the Unicorns. That's the 6th walk. They've also struck out 4 times. Enriquez has 2 of each. He's still looking for his first hit since joining the USPBL. Might not get a chance here. 3 balls, no strikes. Trio had the green light, swung and missed up in the zone, 3-1. Fouled away, 3-2. Enriquez 6'1", 225. And a whole lot of muscle in that 225. Just looking at his frame. big, athletic power catcher, Jim Essian's specialty. Same thing with Felix Abaret. You can tell these guys grew up in the same area and were friends. Similar play styles, similar catch styles, similar body build. Gooden off of first on the 3-2. And away he walked him. Back-to-back walks for Hab. And you can smell trouble here in the 8th. Baker struck out his first time up. Since then, pop out, ground out, ground out. Here comes Justin Karn. Karn not pulling Hab. Just a conversation. We mentioned how many double plays we've seen tonight. It's been 3 total, which in one game is a lot. Total this season, less than 50 double plays between the 4 teams. Each team has played over 30 games. Goes to show you just how low that total is. So 3 tonight is pretty impressive. These 2 teams right around the same and how often they ground into the double play. First pitch, curveball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Expect to see Hab work low with 1 out and the double play on to a good power hitter in Josh Baker. Not sure where that missed. Boy. Slider perfect. Low and in. No call from home plate umpire, no love. Now Baker fouls 1 off. Fastball that time. Two, 1. Outside with the curve. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hab more adept at getting the ground ball out than the fly ball, so he could use that right here. 3-1. Fouled away, and there will not be room for Garbasic to go chase that one down. Full count, though. Time called. Baker steps back in. 0 for 4 tonight. Looking to do some damage in the top of the 8th in a tie ball game. 2-2. 3-2. Up, and he walked him. 90 with the fastball. That'll load the bases. 3 straight walks to Gooden, Enriquez, and Baker. Now the cleanup man in a cleanup role. Felix Abaret has not put the ball in play yet tonight. 3 walks and a strikeout. That's the way his day reads. And I think the day might be done, as it's not Justin Karn coming out, it's Taylor Jellikowski for Jonathan Hab. 1 out recorded in the 8th. 3 walks after that. Bases loaded for Felix Abaret. And the Mammoths will go to the bullpen after this break on the US PBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Nathan Witt not giving up any belief. One out, bases loaded jam. He's called upon to get the Mammoths out of it. He's got to get Felix Averette out first. That was an intentional pun, as Don't Stop Believin' rings through the Jimmy John's Field ballpark right now. That is a fan favorite, especially here in Metro Detroit. We love any mention of the Motor City and the famous line, born and raised in South Detroit, which doesn't exist. South Detroit is Canada, essentially, because geographically the southern part of Detroit is just downtown, so nobody calls it South Detroit. But we still like it. Detroit. We'll take anything we can get. Unicorns trying to get something here. They've stranded 12 runners tonight. This has been their kryptonite all season long. Leaving runners on base, leaving runners in scoring position. With runners in scoring position, the Unicorns are a league worst 244 this season. Felix Averette has been their best hitter since joining this team halfway through the year. The Mammoths are trying to hang on to first place. They need a win to gain sole possession of it. The first pitch, Averette on the ground. Witt, he'll go home for one. Combs will go down to first. Just like that, a double play. You couldn't have painted it any prettier. Nathan Witt on one pitch out of the bullpen. The putout goes 1, 2, 3 for 2 outs, and we're still tied at 2.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Still just marveling at the end of that last inning. Jonathan Habb in his second inning of work. Now that's a strong way to put it. He came out in the 7th and got 1 strikeout to end the inning. Came out in the 8th, got a pop out, then walked 3 straight batters to load the bases. Nathan Witt was called out of the bullpen to face the toughest hitter in the Unicorns lineup in Felix Averette. And on one pitch, got Averette to ground into a 1-2-3 double play with the bases loaded. There's a saying about 1-2-3. It's as easy as, and that's all it was for Nathan Witt. We're now in the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 2. Mammoths now batting. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters, Trevor Austin, Nick Webb, and Dre Williams Nelson. Chase Bauman taking over for Matt Colucci. Colucci came on in the 7th and got a 1-2-3. 2 groundouts to Patrick Baggett at short. Struck out Colby Seltzer, and it was a perfect 1 inning of relief. Now it's Chase Bauman's turn to try to get out of the 8th. Bauman, 17 appearances this year, 16 and a bullpen role. Bauman leads the league in saves with 5 on the year. Obviously not a save situation right now. Trevor Austin from the right side digs in the right on right. Slider called strike, low and away, 0-1. Curveball outside, 1-1. For Bauman, it's both fastballs, 4 and 2 seam, then a changeup, curveball, slider. 1-1 fastball up and in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Chase, a 5.47 ERA in 24 2/3 innings of work before tonight. That low drive to home plate keeps that center of gravity close to the ground. Misses with the 2-1, so now 3 balls and 1 strike on Austin, who has struck out and walked tonight. Two-seam fastball inside, well placed. 3 balls and 2 strikes to fill the count. The 3-2. And walked him. A little bit high. Trevor Austin takes the fastball. Close take on the 3-2, close pitch, but it's a walk. Lineup turns over to Nick Webb. As we're here in the 8th inning, Mammoths, despite being tied 2-2 with the long ball tonight, Fox Liam, one of the few extra base hits. We've only had 2 tonight. He's got 1 of them. It was the solo home run. Despite them having the extra base hits, they've only had 3 innings of the 7 that we've played, and we're here into the 8th, where they've gone beyond the 3-batter minimum. It was 5 in the 3rd, 5 in the 4th, and 4 in the 5th. Webb waits the 1-0. High with the 2-seam, 2 balls, no strikes. Nick 1 for 2 with an RBI single since stepping off the bench in place of the injured Burl Dixon. 2-0, jackknifes out of the way of a fastball. Austin faked off of first base like he was going to go. This has not been a major issue for Bauman, the command. The walk rate below 5. Strikeouts are low as well, below league average, but so is the walk rate. He does get a called strike here. It's not been anything of note, but it's not been an issue either. Chase Bauman just right around the middle of the league in a lot of the categories. 3-1. Taking all the way is Webb, and that's back-to-back walks out of the bullpen for Bauman. Over to second goes Austin. 2 on, nobody out. Dre Williams Nelson stepping up to the plate. Mound conversation from Nick Caruso, calling the whole infield in on what they want to do here. Four double plays tonight. Cannot rule it out that there's a high probability there's a double play coming. It seems like they've all been in very key spots too. We've had, by my count, 2 inning-ending double plays of the 4, which when you consider that there are 4 in general, the fact that half of them have been inning-ending is also impressive. But they've all been in big spots to get the defensive team out of an inning or out of a jam or save some runs. Remember, there was a 5th possible one that Patrick Baggett beat out to score a run. Williams Nelson, first pitch on the ground, but a high bounce foul. Bauman pulls back and sets 0-1. Williams Nelson ducking out of the way of a curveball, high and tight, 1-1. Dre has been hit a couple times this year. Certainly not a fan of that. 3 times already he's been hit. More than any other Mammoth. Curveball finds the zone, strike 2. There was one game he got hit in back-to-back plate appearances, the first 2 plate appearances, and I think it was he'd only seen 2 or 3 pitches and he had been hit twice. A guy who loves the game of baseball, loves to swing the bat, and he will here. Out to center, going back past Store, it's over his head, looping to the wall, it bounces up for a ground rule double. That will score 1 run. And the Mammoths take a lead, 3-2. Williams Nelson, you think that guy loves baseball? Loves to swing the bat? Fired up after the RBI double. I think Pastor just went the wrong direction as that ball was slicing off the right-handed bat of Williams Nelson. Kind of went towards the left center gap at first and then sliced back toward the heart of center field, landed on the warning track and bounced up for a ground rule double. I think they're going to intentionally walk Mills here. They will. So that'll load the bases. With nobody out here in the 8th. It was Austin that scored off the double from Williams Nelson. Webb is over to third. And now with the intentional walk, Mills at first, Williams Nelson obviously at second. Fox Liam's already got 1 dinger tonight. Another one would be critical. Bauman gets the nod. Sets, infield drawn in. First pitch, good 2-seam fastball at the front hip that breaks back into the strike zone. Swing and a miss. Went back to the 2-seam and Liam's behind 0-2. He's 1 for 3 with the bases loaded this season. The Mammoths as a team, 232, second best in the league. Nobody out here. 0-2 and a good job by Liam to lay off the high fastball. Bauman in a good spot, could use a strikeout here. Remember, the Unicorns come into tonight with a 7-game losing streak on the line. 1-2, swing and a miss. Curveball got him. Really good at bat from Bauman in a big spot to try to stop the bleeding. And he's done that for now with 1 out. Now Livingston Morris will take his chance with the bases loaded. Right on right. Morris waits. Curveball blocked by Aberrett. Nice job by Morris to lay off. So that strikeout to Liam, just the first out. Walk, walk, double, intentional walk to load the bases. 1-0, swings and pops it up. Just in front of the mound. Bauman gets called off. Gooden's there. And that is 2 outs. Unicorns would love to get out of this inning trailing by just one. With the way this thing started, it looked like it could have been bad, but the best bet in the last month and a half for the Mammoths digs in Alex Garbasic. Hitting .311 before tonight. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Always gives Taylor Jellikowski a good at bat as he waves and misses at the first pitch curveball. Mills at first, Williams Nelson at second, Webb at third. Infield back now with 2 outs, everybody playing straight up. Curveball gets away. The 1-1 is fought off foul. Garbasic's 1 hit tonight came back in the 4th. He was the back end of the back-to-back with Morris and Garbasic after the Liam home run. Curveball breaks back in, called strike 3. Garbasic can't believe it. Dre Williams Nelson with his 4th RBI of the year gives the Mammoths the lead. As we head to the 9th, it's 3-2 here in the U.S. PBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early. Giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees. And helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Ninth inning. Strap in, folks. It's been a good one. Single runs for each of these teams. Unicorns got 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 7th. The Mammoths 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 8th. 3-2 our score. Last chance for the Unicorns. We'll have to go against the hard-throwing Nathan Witt. It'll be Pastor, Weber, and Matulia here in the top of the 9th. If you remember, Witt came on. Seemed like a joke to end the 8th. He threw 1 pitch on a 1-2-3 double play. Now he'll actually come on for real this time to try to get things done in the 9th and put the Mammoths in first place of the U.S. PBL. Again, these Mammoths do have to play tomorrow against the Beavers, who have had a couple days off. Pastor, the only Unicorn with more than 1 hit tonight. He's 2 for 4. Don't say this too often. He struck out and scored in the 7th. Reached on a drop third strike and tied the game after a walk and a single from Phil Matulia. Falls behind 0-1 here. One and one now. Witt, just 3 pitches, 2-seam cutter, slider. And that 2-seam has a whole lot of velocity behind it. That last one in at 93. We've seen Witt get up to 96, 97, sit 95 in some appearances this year. Pastor waiting on the 1-2. 94 miles an hour low and away. 2-2. Fought off foul. On the ground to second. It's actually going to bounce over to first base. Liam changed his mind, and Pastor's safe. Liam was going to flip it to Witt, then tried to step on the bag himself. Pastor hustled the whole way down. See if they go on the board with a hit or an error. That's an unorthodox error if it's scored that way. But I think it has to be, right? Either way, Pastor is on the leadoff man in the ninth. Pastor going on the pitch. Combs to throw it on to second. That's close, but it gets away. Out into center field. Pastor stays at second. Combs with a decent throw, but it was just too far to the right. Over to the first base side. And Pastor quickly in scoring position. Weber with two good swings tonight. One resulted in a single, another was a long fly out. Chance to tie this game right here. Waits on the 0-1. Fouled, right side. Liam long run. He won't get that. That'll go to the seats. Balls, 2 strikes. Weber waits. Pastor, a huge secondary leadoff second. Swing and a miss. Thought he might have caught a piece. Think that was just the ball bouncing off home plate that we heard. And a strikeout for Nathan Witt for the first out in the ninth. Matulia steps up now. Witt, his first strikeout of the night, 23rd of the year. Average numbers for both walks and strikeouts. In 19 innings, 9 walks, 23 Ks. Matulia fouls the first fastball back. Witt, a guy who has had plenty of professional experience before this year. College days go back to 2017 in the green and white at Michigan State. Pastor trying to go for third, swing and a miss, throw down. They did not get him. He comes off the bag a little bit, but he stays on. He's safe. Garbasic can't believe the call. Caruso was over there to help the umpire. Now the two will convene and talk it over. As of right now, Pastor is safe 90 feet from tying this game. So these two umpires are going to talk it over. Long discussion. A lot hangs in the balance here. He's ruled safe. How this game could have changed the complexion of this ninth inning. Had he been out, the Unicorns would have been down to their last out with nobody on base. Now Matulia, anything in play on the ground will tie this game. He is behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Infield drawn in, swing and a miss. Witt fired up, 2-seam fastball flung in there at 98. Can you tell he was a little angry? Fastest pitch of the year, back-to-back strikeouts. Pastor with stolen bases, 10 and 11. To get in scoring position with a chance to tie this game. Curiel, almost always a good at-bat. Steps up with a chance to tie it. 1 ball, no strikes. That last one at 96. Witt rearing back and letting that fastball go. 1-0. Swing and tipped into the glove. 1-1. 97. Pastor's getting a huge lead off third. He's going to try to score likely on anything in the dirt with all the speed that he has. 1-1. Low. That's 4 in a row from Witt at 97 or more. We talked about the velocity. I've never seen him throw like this. He wants to end this game and get his second save of the year. The 2-1. Curiel caught up to it a little bit. 98, but not quite in time. 2-2. Down to their last strike. Unicorns looking to snap a 7-game losing streak. The Mammoths want to take first place. Tying run in the 9th is 90 feet away. Witt gets the sign, pulls the glove up to the face, turns the hip, fires, and just outside. 3-2. Can't really get much closer than this. Curiel's ready. Witt's ready. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 straight Ks in the 9th. Nathan Witt lifts the Mammoths to first place in the USPBL. Not a lot of offense. Back and forth this game went, though. And ultimately, it was the Mammoths taking advantage. In the 8th inning, Dre Williams-Nelson with a ground rule double that scored a run, the game-winning run. Unicorns made it close in the 9th. Pastor reached on the air, got all the way around the 3rd on a pair of steals. But Nathan Witt turned around and struck out Weber, Matulia, and Curiel with almost every pitch above 97 miles an hour. Mammoths win this one 3-2. We got post-game after this on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back here on the USPBL Network. Mammoths take first place as they move on the season to 20-15, a half game in front of the Hoppers. Here from Jimmy John's Field with a 3-2 win over the Unicorns, who have now lost 8 straight and have fallen to 14-20 as we are just a couple weeks away from postseason baseball in Utica. Unicorns need some offense and some pitching help. Badly, they don't get any of it tonight. Nathan Witt strikes out 3 straight in the 9th with the tying run 90 feet away to save the game for the Mammoths. He earned his 2nd save of the year. Dre Williams-Nelson had the go-ahead RBI in the 8th inning. He's standing with Kara.
I'm here with Dre Williams-Nelson, our Detroit News Player of the Game. So Dre, actually what we were just talking about is you were on concussion protocol for about a week, and you come back, your first game back, hitting a massive double, scoring the run for the Mammoths in the bottom of the 8th. So actually returning back to your team, it didn't seem like you've been gone for too long.
I mean, just being around these guys, just keeping my head up and just allowing me to keep a positive mindset, just really put me in a good spot to where I can help my team win.
And so the Mammoths actually were not tied with the Hoppers in first. You still had a better win percentage, but you and the Hoppers both had the same amount of wins under your belt so far this season. Now you guys are solidly in first place. So how does that feel to know you were a part of that win, putting you guys officially in first place?
Oh, it's a big blessing. I mean, just to be able to have my teammates be able to say we're number 1 leading up to the playoffs and things like that, it's a big blessing. So I'm thankful to be here.
Yeah, so we're thankful to have you once again, Dre Williams-Nelson, our Detroit News Player of the Game. Really excited. Congratulations. Like you said, you needed this one under your belt. So how are you feeling now heading into the rest of the season? Because we're over that halfway mark now. We're heading towards championship weekend.
I mean, I just feel a lot more calm, a lot more like weight has been lifted off my shoulder, just as far as the pressure being on, coming back here and just being able to play with my heart out and just having fun while doing it.
I look forward to that confidence continuing on for the rest of the season. So once again, congratulations. Thank you guys for sticking with us tonight on the broadcast. Everyone here in the field had a great time watching the kids run the bases and enjoyed their time on Scout Night. So thank you guys once again. And on the broadcast, we'll send it back up to the boys in the booth. Once again, I'm Kara Wolfbauer. We will see you next time at Jimmy John's Field.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Dre. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. No, we sure did up here. A lot of crazy double plays. We had an injury substitution, a home run, some fine defensive work on both sides of this game. And ultimately, Dre Williams-Nelson capped everything off with a big ground rule double in his first game back after that concussion. He got ran into over at first base last week, missed a couple games for the Mammoths, and they win it 3-2 and move into first place by themselves here in the USPBL. Again, join us tomorrow. These Mammoths are back again, 1:05. Wake up bright and early for some Sunday afternoon baseball between the Mammoths and the Beavers here on the USPBL Network. We'll be live at 12:45. For Carol Wolfbauer, I'm Brennan Shabath. We will see you tomorrow right here from Jimmy John's Field. Thank you so much and have a great night, everyone.